This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
It may be a new season for iRacing, but the Kamel GT is a staple corner of the service. With Season 3's winners of Nicholas Schneider and Philip Lake having a healthy gap in points to the cars behind, a number of drivers have taken a good look at themselves, and I imagine they're coming up out of the gates swinging for Season 4. Will Schneider and Lake continue their form, or will new drivers usurp their commanding performances? Stick your TVs, YouTube apps, and eyes to the global SimRacing channel to find out. Hi, I'm Robert O'Brien, and with me in the booth today is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Road America is a great track to start Season 4 with plenty of tarmac to race side by side. Let's head to our track guide to learn more.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
Well, Adam, you know, you're the expert here of this series. So, how do you feel about the Kamel GT starting at Road America this season?
Well, I mean, another season of coverage with us does begin here at America's National Park of Speed, Road America, and I think this is going to be a great venue, especially with the 51 cars we have joining us today. This 4-mile, 6.5-kilometer, 14-turn circuit is one of the most beautiful and most challenging road courses in the States. The Audis will feel fairly at home here, as a large amount of straightaways allow for draft packs to form and passes to be made, but in order to be part of that draft pack, you have to master the achingly long carousel and Canada Corner through turn 14 to stay in contact with the leaders. The Nissans will also feel at home here, with the sweeping kink and Bill Mitchell bend providing great opportunities to utilize their high downforce. Multi-class here can be extremely dangerous, especially with 51 vehicles, and especially through turn 7, the kink, and Thunder Valley, as the nearly about 5-second lap time difference between classes makes for terrifying closing speeds. Add to that a generally high attendance for the first race of the season, especially today, with some rookies in the field, and we've got a recipe for action, Rob.
Action indeed it is. Now, there was plenty of action last season. I was there for the tail end of it, and I got to see firsthand just how maniacal the racing is. Is that even a word in the English dictionary? I don't know. I'll enter it in. I'll ask Oxford to enter it in, but it is going to be very tight. As you can see there, GTB coming around the carousel. That is one of the biggest danger zones, I think, for these cars. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, and these cars very, very efficient and dangerous as well. We're actually in the middle of qualifying round with 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go. But if we can, let's take us through the points for the for last season, with Nicholas Schneider in the GTPs taking the victory over Laust Olsen, who passed Fabian Newbluth by just 1 point. Right in the last race, Fabian Newbluth not having a good race at the final step of the podium. Then we have Togo Hisada, who actually climbed up and claimed 4th position over Javier Mascara right at the end of the season. So a very eventful final race for those drivers for sure. And do you have the GTOs up for you, Rob?
The GTOs dominated by Philip. Like, there's just no other word for it. He put in such commanding operations. And I think back to Le Mans, especially, for instance, where he just kept slotting it in just at the right time. He did have that final lap accident, but he came back just as the leaders collided in the Ford chicane. Yuko Leskela in second. Ove Tangrid, he'd definitely be one to watch out for. He needs to get them socks up and start putting in boots on the ground. Nicholas Makanos in 4th, and finally Jamie Hamill-Smith in 5th.
Yeah, and Rob, I'm looking at my track map, and it is a complete mess right now with qualifying going on. Just absolutely epic amount of cars here today, and a decent split also, pretty even between the GTPs and the GTOs.
I was just counting. I was just doing the manual counting through them. It is actually a quite even split. That does make for quite tight racing, especially given the fact that the GTPs will definitely have plenty of adversaries on the track between the two of them, or between the two classes, and the GTOs will definitely have to be careful on that first lap for any stragglers. So you can see, looking on, I think that is going to be the number 1 of Hugh Haycox coming through 13A into 14. Nice and easy in through there. Nice and tight. Perfect execution as always. He is being flanked by the car number 2. The car number 2, funny that, I said him in an intro. Nicholas Schneider is also on the track as well. Coming across the line with a 147.086 puts him first for Hugh Haycox. And the time's starting to roll in.
Absolutely, time's starting to roll in with Nicholas Schneider currently taking that provisional pole position. Fabian Glunboot down in 3rd with Hugh Haycox in that 2nd spot. And the Audis are just about to come through Bill Mitchell Bend and turn 14 for the first time as well, being led by the number 31. That is Mark Olay, who's going to cross the line first. So very interesting to observe that as well. Here we go with a couple of different drivers. That is Mark coming across the line. So Marty Olay and Mark Olay have decided to join us this season. So as they cross the line, looks like Mark might be starting his own flying lap, but Reid Miller straight up to the top of the charts with that number 6 machine.
I think we're gonna expand our gap differences to about 10 seconds, because that is about the gap right now, about 10-20 seconds from the fastest GTPs to the fastest GTOs. And as he said, Miller putting himself with a 206.715. The fastest lap coming from Nicholas Schneider, or correction, Nicholas, I said it correctly the first time. Nicholas Schneider with a 146.886. And as they cut through, that's Hugh Haycox on your screens as he's trying to improve. Ove Tangered, he's actually in 3rd, so he is putting in a good first effort. He needs to keep this up all the way through the entire year. Correction, it's going to be Nicholas Schneider on your screens, not Hugh Haycox, car number 2. Cutting through 13 into 14. He needs to not hit the off track coming on the outside. And that's the other question when he comes across the line. I actually just hold my breath here. Does he improve on 146.886 to beat? Coming over the hill past the NTT signs for the sponsorship for IndyCar. And does he make an improvement? No, he doesn't. The question I wanted to pose to you was, do drivers have to be aware of that little bump coming out of 13A and a rise for these GTPs?
Oh, absolutely. That can knock the GTPs way off course if they're not careful. If they hit that just wrong, it'll upset the car, and the car will actually rotate underneath them. And with the GTPs, that's nearly impossible to catch. But one thing we neglected to do in our intro was to go over the race details. So let's do that now. This is race 1 of 11, I believe, for these drivers. And this is going to be a classic 40-minute race, 1 of 12 rather. They have open setups here, so they can set up the car however they like or however they dislike, depending on their preference as drivers. They have no spare car here for this series because this is an official iRacing series. Anyone can join this, and it looks like many of you have taken us up on that offer. 51 cars here today. They have 17 incidents for a penalty, that's a drive-through, and then 25 incidents they get disqualified. If you hit that around here, I'm guessing you're going to have enough damage that you probably won't make it to the end of the race, Rob.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with the GTPs, if you get damage on them, it's essentially over 40 minutes is not enough to get critical damage fixed. By the way, that is going to be the car of Borfia with a 205.772. He actually just blew Core out of the water, and then Core tried to respond. He didn't. Borfia put down the rubber stamp and said, "I will do a 205.6 dead." Puts himself almost a second clear of everybody else on the track. And I think that is going to be the ballpark that drivers are going to need to match if they want to get Boifia off the top row. Does the car number 26, does Camillo have anything in his back pocket? Did he eat his Weetabix this morning? He did, but he isn't faster.
Yeah, no surprise to see Carradine up there at the top of the timing charts. He used to be the highest strength of field driver in the Kamel series a couple of years ago, but rejoining us here for this first race here, and we're going to go to the grid.
Okay, for the top row, it's going to be Nicholas Schneider, Hugh Haycox on row 1, Ovek Tangerid, Lest Olsen in row 2, Aitor Saintes Galindo in row 3 alongside Gento Gabini, Fabian Jungbruth in 4 alongside Javier Mascara. Oh, we can actually take our time. It's a full pace lap. JW Miller and Guillem de Otero in the 5th row. In the 6th row, it's going to be Alex Rodriguez with Patrick Silvasi in the row 6. Stefan Leslie and Christian Veal in the 7th row. 8th row is going to be occupied by Clayton McLeod and Michael Springer in 8th row. 9th row is going to be Jonathan Richard and Douglas Cloud. 10th row is going to be Kyle Reid and Jeffrey Firkin, and Alexandra Tremblay occupying a row alongside Boifia.
Yep, then we have, as we said, Carradine is going to take the pole position in the Audis, with Niels Kaur lining up in 2nd place. Reid Miller is going to line up in 3rd place today, with Andre Schumacher in 4th. Ian Haycox in 5th spot, lining up next to Nick McConos in 6th. Ben Laughter is going to line up in 7th, with next to Jamie Hamill-Smith, and Franco Scurry is going to line up in the 9th position. Hideki Koivisto in 10th for the Audis, and Pablo Rangel in the 11th position. Escoleta Niemi in 12th position. Then one of our newer drivers, Camila Miranda, is going to line up in the 13th spot. Mika Tupola in 14th, with Oren Lask in 15th, Marty Olay in 16th, and Michael Haynes in 17th. Simo Raba in 18th position. Then another new driver, Michael Di Giuseppe, is going to line up in the 19th position. Then we got drivers who did not set qualifying times. Martin Kraytrick in the GTPs, Stephen Bartholomew 20th in the Audis, Carlos Fonseca in the GTPs, as well as Mark Ole, who didn't set qualifying time in the Audis, Ferran Grouch Sanchez in the GTPs. Then we got Andre Juteau, Harry Weir, Kristen Arribas, Javier Romero, and Nicholas Jones, which rounds out your 31 car Audi field and your 51 cars for today.
So exactly 20 GTPs are qualified. Actually, no, wait, that's going to be 24 GTPs that qualified, if my maths is correct.
Well, I can only count up to 5 on one hand, so it must have been 26 GTOs.
You gotta get more fingers, you know. Just, you know, they'll stick a little doll hand on your one of your index fingers and then count through that. That'll help you. But what will not help any of us, and I think it will be absolutely entertaining as we watch these cars take I would say a very tense pace lap around the entirety of Road America. This is actually going to provide a lot more of a heart in the mouth moment, Adam. I'd imagine anyway for these drivers. What are they thinking, wanting to, you know, have a good start for the first season, or for the first race of season 4?
I mean, heart in the mouth is an understatement. I mean, we all have our hearts in our mouths right now, because 51 cars around Road America is a significant amount, quite frankly. And it's extremely, extremely dangerous for these drivers. We actually have an Audi who's pulled off into the grass in the back of the Audi field, so I'll keep my eyes on that. But that being said, we need to take a look at our weather, because that actually is going to be a factor here. It is 102 degrees on track, 85 degrees in the air. That is 39 Celsius on track for folks across the pond, 29 Celsius in the air. 102 Fahrenheit is a lot for these drivers to handle with. 43% humidity, so that's not really much of a problem. But Look at the wind. This is actually my big factor, Zach and Rob. It's going to be 20 kilometers per hour out of the southwest. That is a significant wind, and that is actually going to be a tailwind through Kettle Bottoms. So that's going to be very interesting. And it'll also be a side wind through the carousel, which might actually upset these GTPs when they're ripping through there at full pace.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to cause, and we come through the carousel right now. I do love that PlayStation 2 car number 7, by the way, and so tastefully painted. But it's going to be very difficult, and especially coming through here, they're not going to be as exposed to the wind as, you know, one would thankfully hope, because it's quite a tight section, this kink, coming through onto the back stretch coming up towards Canada. It is going to be quite difficult to see how they're going to side by side, but they're definitely going to be side by side coming into Canada. Going to be a great overtaking spot and holding it through 13 to A to B. But one final thought before we get racing, Adam.
Now, the final thought is traffic today. Just survive. Just survive this race. 51 cars is a lot. If you can survive this race, you're going to be pretty good in the points. A good launch for the season. So just try and avoid all of the wrecks that are going to be happening today, because there will be a lot.
Cars peeling off. It is going to be, well, what nears make no difference. A tight situation coming in through the final chicane. Car number 2 and the car number, I think that is the number 7 or number 1. Correction. It is the number 1. The pace car is off, and already the car number 2 has engaged full send mode as it comes up the hill, and you can see 21 screaming GTPs take the green flag as they come into 1. That car number 2 absolutely launched out of there coming into turn 1. He's already got a nice healthy gap, which he absolutely needs. GTPs being led by Nicholas Schneider, Hugh Haycock, Olsen in the background, keeping it nice and easy. Owain Tangren has lost 2 positions already. He's not had a good day.
And in the GTOs, we got Caradine Bofia, who's currently leading over Niels Core and Reid Miller. Caradine getting a nice launch. They actually started right before Bill Mitchell Bend, so that's exactly where they launched. And everyone's still going here for the GTOs. Just Marty Olay, who's taken to the pits, unfortunately, in the back of the field. But everyone else still going. Niels Core is going to have a decent run off of turn 3 down through the Moraine sweep. But Reid Miller actually with a better jump, and I don't believe anyone's going to have an opportunity to pass as we come into 14.
Oh, with Alexander Rodriguez, he's actually spun at the worst part possible. He has spun coming up the hill onto turn 6 into 7. He's all the way back at the end of the grid. And Alexandre Tremblay, he's also off. He has not had a nice start to this race whatsoever. But 2 of them picking it back up. And unfortunately, Alexandre Tremblay is having to cut through the GTO field. And the GTPs are still racing away with it.
Absolutely. Nicholas Schneider almost with a second lead over Hugh Haycock as they went through Kettle Bottoms, but now through Canada Corner. Hugh Haycock starting to claw that back in a little bit. Laust Olsen, another 2.5 seconds behind these guys, and he's got Heitor Sanchez Gaindo and Ove Trangrade for company. Those 2 guys very close in behind. Ove Trangrade with a good opportunity on Heitor Sanchez Gaindo if he can get a good exit here. Here they come off of the final corner to take us to our second lap.
We just had car number 29 go up. On the final turn, he's lost, I think, 10 positions. Or no, correction, he's lost 9. De Toro absolutely fighting for his life. He's now lost 10 positions. A absolutely horrendous incident for him. The slow walk of shame through the grass, costing him dearly. And he's also got a little bit of damage on that front left, as you can see on the cameras. He's probably actually digging into the wheel at this point. He's going to keep it absolutely balanced, but we do have, just cut across, but we do have Fabian Youngbluth and Giancola Gambini going into 5. Oh, very nicely executed indeed by the car number 8. Very nice, tasty livery. A 10 out of 10 approval.
Absolutely good pass there from Youngbluth. Youngbluth trying to make his way forward through the traffic. We've had one of the GTOs off. That was Nick Picanos, I believe. Yeah, Nick Meccano sliding off through turn 3, so he's able to get himself going again. Sorry, through turn 2. Now exiting turn 3, heading towards the Moraine Sweep. He's fallen back to the 13th position behind Pablo Rangel.
GTOs, no sledges themselves. Nicholas Meccano's having difficulty, and then we have Tremblay, the car number 50, cutting back through, trying to salvage a race if at all possible, but he is holding up Andre Schumacher. I keep getting the image of Murray in my head saying Michael Schumacher for some reason.
Yeah, so Alexander Tremblay able to cut his way through the field. He's going to be approaching the top 3, which is Caradine Bofia and Niels Kor and Reid Miller. All of them really separated, to be honest with you. Caradine with a nice light lead over Niels by about a second and a half. Reid Miller tucked in behind them, and here comes Tremblay around. We see Hugh Haycock saying the fastest lap of the race. And speaking of that, Hugh has caught on to the back of Nicholas Schneider and is actually challenging him for the lead.
Hugh Haycock's looking at the rear end of the car number 2, the Hugo Boss liveried versus PlayStation liveried cars. 148.367 by Hugh Haycock in that last lap, a 148.721 by Nicholas Schneider, car number 2. And so Slipstream is going to help them quite a huge ton as they come on through.
And Hugh Haycock's shown a lot of pace, Rob, over the last season, so he's definitely in it for these wins over the course of this season. Nicholas Schneider, he's been dominant over the course of last season, absolutely. So a lot of progress being made by Nicholas over last season to get to that dominant position. Hugh Haycock's in a really good position, but we've had another wreck, and this one was big at the GTP.
Oh no!
Loud and Jonathan Ricard.
Yankola Gabini is actually also a victim. His engine's gone.
That was almost another wreck as more GTPs tried to filter their way through, and that's just the nature of this particular track right now. Just an unfortunate incident between all of them as they got collected under the braking into turn 5.
A very tight, compressed corner in turn number 5. You'd need to be very careful, especially in GTPs. And GTOs, we do have Reid Miller looking to get back at Niels Kor, and we still do have a car number 4. The lead car is, he's slowly getting away. He was 0.6 of a lap faster than Niels Kor on that last lap. Car number 3 having to put in the work, but Hugh Haycock's breathing down the neck of Nicholas Schneider. Schneider coming in and he's holding station right now, but I mean, there's not much you can do really if you're drafting another car.
Well, I mean, do you just fall to the draft behind them and try and pass them? Oh, wow. Hugh Haycock's actually missing, getting his wheels into the dirt a little bit, losing a little bit of traction, so he's not going to have an opportunity down to the Moraine Sweep, unfortunately. But he's definitely closing in behind and trying to, and keeping Nicholas Schneider honest. We know that Nicholas runs lower downforce than most of the other drivers, and look at this. It's already happening. We're already approaching lapped GTO traffic. That's going to define this battle as they get nose to tail.
It is absolutely going to be very tight as they come around their first lapped GTO car. That is unfortunately going to be, I think, Stephen Bartholomew with the car. No, correction, it's going to be Christian Arribas with the car number 45. Being taken just before the carousel, so they have plenty of fights to do just yet, and there'll be more cars up ahead of them. You just saw a glimpse of one that is going to be Martiole, car number 25, coming up through the kink. They didn't hit it, they hit it just after, so luck is still on their side, so the battle is still going on as they come down to Canada.
Here comes Hugh Haycock around the outside. He's going to try to make the pass around the outside. He's got more downforce than Nicholas, so Nicholas is going to have to give it to him. Can Hugh Haycock hold it? The answer is yes, as they dive through Thunder Valley towards Bill Mitchell Bend. Hugh Haycock has the lead of the race. Nicholas Schneider gets a little bit of dirty air and has to fall off just a little bit, but he's going to try and take turn 14 quickly. But Hugh Haycock's up to the lead of the race.
Hugh Haycock's exceptional execution there, my friend. And he has put his rubber stamp on the authority that he thinks he has over P1. But, of course, Nicholas Schneider, no sledge by himself. And he is going to want to come back at it again. But in P3, it is absolutely dicey. Look at it. Already we put on the cameras. All right, that's the car gone off. That's going to be the unfortunate car. Martiole just slid under braking and it ejected him into the gravel traps.
Now that wasn't so much a slide under braking, Rob, as Laust Olsen taking away his line. So with that line taken away, he just carried too much. He had too much speed carrying into the corner. But here comes Aitor Sintisgindo. Laust Olsen's going to block to the inside, move back to the racing line. Aitor's going to try and challenge him under braking. He's going to reach the apex. They're going to be side by side as they exit 5.
Keeping it nice and steady, they need to keep side by side. As I said in the intro, there's plenty of tarmac to go racing between each other, but that doesn't mean every single bit of it is raceable. Ooh, tight squeeze there. Almost 3 wide. Ooh, crikey, that's going to be Aitor trying to dive every which way against Laust Olsen.
Laust Olsen just taking the racing line there out. Aitor Sintisgindo having to find his way around. They've got Ove Tregrade and Fabian Dubluth for company. This is now a 4-car battle for the 3rd position as they're duking it out. They're going to have to pass Andre Gto. Oh no! Aitor Sintisgindo gets blocked. Laust Olsen able to keep going. Ove Tregrade's going to pass Aitor.
Ove Tregrade in a perfect place at a perfect time. Aitor slowing down to make sure that everything was okay. Laust Olsen probably had his heart in his mouth. He's actually slowing down.
Slowdown penalty.
He's had a slowdown.
Oh man, and Aitor Sintisgindo almost wrecked, so that's going to allow JW Miller and Javier Mascara to get by as well.
Aitor, his race has just gone from from great to bad. He was singing the high praises of 3rd place, and then just one little tap from GTO, and it sent him all the way down into 6th.
And speaking of chaos, Nicholas Schneider is 12 seconds behind Hugh Haycox. All of this chaos is meaning that all these drivers are having to get through it. There's Nicholas Schneider, major damage to the rear end. What happened?
He has absolutely bombasted that car, if there were ever such a word for car in serious trouble. Bombasted would be the word for it, because it's so damaged.
Yeah, this was contact about 30 seconds ago with Harry Weir, who this was coming through Mitchell Bend.
I just saw it there myself.
So here is the replay. We're going to watch it once again, and this is with Nicholas Schneider, the number 2 machine. There you see the contact. That was between himself and Harry Weir through Bill Mitchell Bend. Harry Weir just getting loose into the grass, you see right there, and Nicholas Schneider nowhere to go in the smoke and gets collected by the car behind as well.
That is only hit the wall as well. That's even worse, because that is going to be damage every which way. Front, left, right, and now rear, as his poor little car is having to pick up the pieces and try its best really with the cards that it has. He did a last lap of a 202.064, so he is very much off the pace. In the GTOs, we still have various battles to get going with. That is going to be Niels Core and Reid Miller going side by side down into turn 1.
Absolutely. Niels Core trying to hold on to this position. Reid Miller trying to go around the outside of turn 1. Usually not a great place to pass for the Audis, but can Niels hold on to it? The answer is just barely yes right there. They're still going to be side by side heading down towards 3. Niels has to go a little bit wide to try and get a better line through the corner. These Audis notorious for their tightness through the turns, and Niels Core able to hang on to him. And Reid Miller in the draft. He's going to be able to make a move here. He's going to look to the outside of the Moraine sweep and turn 5. Here we go, down through 4 and into 5. Here's Hugh Haycox, our leader, who's trying to find his way through, and he's getting held up by these 2 guys. He has 12 seconds to play with, but look at that. Those 2 guys are going to sort out for a little bit to let the leader get through. Niels Core's going to try and follow him through as well, with Reid Miller trying to pursue him behind.
He said 12 seconds. It's then knocked down to just over 11, and that's the car number 7 gone round. Losing it under braking. Yeah, Clayton McLeod under braking going into turn 3, losing the rear end. He at least held the brakes. Nice and easy back onto the track. Chin up, buddy. He'll be back there racing in no time. We still do have this, by the way. And another question I wanted to ask you as well was, especially if you have somebody like this, where we have Niels Core and Reid Miller going at it, and also in the top ranks where we have Nicholas Springer or Michael Springer and Patrick Silvassi going at it through traffic. Do you just wait, or do you gun it?
It depends on the corner. It depends on the situation. The Audis are going to be the slower class in multi-class racing is taught to race their line no matter what. So you as the faster class have to figure out how to navigate your way through, because especially the GTPs with a 10-second delta, they can absolutely find their way around the course on opportune lines. So All-Way Train Grade, for example, got caught up behind a bunch of Audis at the worst possible time. And Fabian Newbluth as well. Fabian Newbluth lost about 4 seconds to Obey. Oh, major incident coming out of the final corner for multiple cars.
Oh!
This is Stephen Leslie, Patrick Savalzi, Christian Wheel, and more contact. 51 cars does not go at Road America, and he can't even get onto pit road.
I think I need to digest what just happened there, because, oh my crikey, it is cars now damaged left, right, and center. I can't even begin to explain what just happened, ladies and gentlemen, but we do have...
Kamel GT is what happened.
Unfortunately, that is the car number 18 losing it under braking, or no, not under braking, correction, just tipped the grass, the car went round, and then the Rothman's car just at the wrong place, wrong time, and then the car number 36 was there to greet him. And
car number 36 reported having no brakes, so must have had a technical issue with his pedal set that made it so that he couldn't slow down coming through that sector, which is why he hit both of those machines and hit the inside wall, unfortunately.
That, I think, has actually caused the end of the race for 4 cars, and it is going to be quite a somber moment in this race, because everybody will have seen, or would have at least known, that a major accident happened. So keeping it nice and clean going through. That is a very nice Jaguar livery. James, a Jaguar livery, not a Nissan livery.
Oh, yeah,
I just need to mention
this is the battle for 8th position in the GTPs. I mean, it's the battle for a lot of things. You can see just tons of stuff happening on screen. But who we're focusing on is Ferran Grau Sanchez and Alex Rodriguez, the 2 GTPs, as they're trying to cut their way through here, going through turn 12, Canada corner, up through Thunder Valley, now into Bill Mitchell Bend. They get trapped up behind these GTOs. Ferran is trying to find his way through. It's really challenging to do that with the GTOs taking their normal lines. So you can see Alex, oh no, misshift there, and that was major contact with the outside wall for Esco Letaniemi. He misshifted, and even more contact off of the corner.
That is going to be GTP in a wall. The car number 21 is actually going to be Carlos Forenza, or Fonsenza, sorry. He's gone into the pits, and just 2 of the cars going off there, and that is going to be Carlos, I've already mentioned his name, Patrick Slivazzi. He's gone off as well. He's got major damage. His race is done. It's that last turn is just absolutely not able to take any prisoners at this race, especially with traffic, Adam.
Absolutely, and the traffic definitely a factor here. Here is Hugh Haycox, our leader of the GTPs. He's got himself a 16.5-second lead, and traffic is absolutely the main driving factor for all of this chaos. Hugh Haycox is trying to survive here. We're looking once again at that battle for 8th position in the GTPs, and you can see that's Ferran just making it past Michael Giuseppe there into turn 8 there. Giuseppe just taking a little bit too deep. Alex Rodriguez losing about 1.5 seconds due to that. And then this battle for 4th position, the Audis right behind them. Andre Schumacher, Ben Lafter, and Ian Haycox all trying to figure out their way around this track through the carousel. Such a difficult corner in the Audis, and now into the sweep.
Right-hand turn for Andre Schumacher, leading Ben Lafter and Ian Haycox. Oh, that's another car gone off. The car number 7 having more issues. Clayton McLeod, not his day today, but at least he's keeping it nice and tidy, nice and safe, waiting for traffic to be clear.
We've had a major contact at the end of the corner. That was Jamie Hamill-Smith, I believe. No, that was Heitor Sintes-Gto and Hideki Koivisto who made contact, and that was due to Michael Di Giuseppe slowing down offline in the braking zone, making it impossible for Heitor Sintes-Gto to find a line.
When the road is blocked, it's not much where you can go. You can either smash the brakes and lock up and then hold traffic up behind you. You're never going to win that battle, unfortunately, and it has caused the number 9 car to take a beating. And that is another overtake by the...
This was a lack traffic, actually, Rob. This was... I believe this was the 43 who got passed, and that was JW Miller who made it past Gto Battle to put another lap on him.
GW Miller, quite race from him. He's up into 4th, so I'd say he's happy with that. Calling it a quiet race for him. And by the way, Hugh Haycock, as soon as he didn't have Nicholas Schneider with him, he sort of had his own race. More cars passing through traffic, though. That is going to be the car number 32. Oh, his name escapes me. Car number 32 of Leslie. There we go. Found him. Stefan Leslie, car number 32 in 11th position right now, chasing down car number 35 of Audi fame, Andre Schumacher. Still battling, though.
Yeah, 51 cars is hard to navigate for the drivers, hard to navigate for us commentators as well, especially because this is an open series. Anyone can join it, so we have names in here that we don't recognize, so you can't even do it by the paints necessarily. But Andre Schumacher in 4th position, Ben Lafter in 5th, Ian Haycock in 6th as they dive through the kink. And a good run for Ian Haycock, but they got Jeffrey Furcon to worry about. And these GTPs really do break up the Audi battles, because you're going to see Jeffrey Furcon here. He's actually going to stay behind these guys, but Ian Haycock thought he might actually go down the inside, so he changes his braking line. He changes his approach to the corner. He changes his approach to the battle because he's worried about the GTP. He wants to make sure that he's maximizing his own time and speed with the traffic. But when a GTP just isn't assertive like that, it actually can cause you to slow down a little bit because you're not sure where he's going to go.
Holding it nice and steady and then passing by. He's actually not going too fast compared to the traffic. Can he clear? Yeah, he can. He's going by them now, and that's going to be Andre Schumacher. He's just passed. And that is the stick of 3, the 3 amigos. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Andre Schumacher leading car number 35 in the car number 10 and the car number 11. Ben Lafferty and Ian Haycock, respectively.
Here we go.
The GTP. On the inside.
So close there as they exit the corner. Andre's going to be able to hang on to it. Now we've got Jonathan Ricciardo's going to try and get his way through. No! Andre Schumacher blocks him off. I'm not sure how this is benefiting anybody by doing that. Ben Lafter's going to outbrake Andre into turn 5 here. Here we go into the corner. Ricciardo just completely bottled up there. For what?
Yeah.
For no reason.
Unfortunately, it is multi-class racing. Cars it goes both ways. The faster car has the right to pass when they come up, but the slower car has the right to race as well. So you got to balance the two of them. Unfortunately, it is a bit of a juggling act, and unfortunately, that is going to be to the detriment of the GTP, the car number 43.
I would 100% be on the horn there if I was Jonathan getting held up like that, but unfortunately, not the case for Jonathan, just calmly making his way around. Once again, survival's the name of the game. No use getting mad, just try and survive this race right now.
He did flash his light, so he definitely wasn't the happiest camper in the woods, but there's not much he could do. He still stayed behind as best he could and let these guys race. And as we saw, Ben Lafter, he was laughing all the way to the bank with his move. He's gone up into 4th, car number 30. That's going to be Michael Springer on his own, but being chased down by Kyle Reid. A 1 second gap difference now, and that'll be enough for the slipstream. Just about, though. Just about.
Yeah, that's enough to get a draft from the driver ahead, but it's not going to pull you straight in. It's going to be probably, well, depending on whether or not Michael Springer has decent pace, it's probably going to be another lap probably before they get close enough to affect the pass. But Kyle Reid doing a good job actually of pursuing right now. Look at this. Here's Reid Miller. Reid Miller up there.
There was Reid Miller.
Absolutely. Reid Miller in the 3rd.
Oh, there he is, buddy.
Speaking of Reid Miller, it's worth mentioning the leaders of these races, because we're chasing down so much action. That's not even, we haven't really been able to touch them. So Reid Miller up there in the 3rd position in GTOs. We have Niels Kor in 2nd. There you see that 4 machine of Caradine Bufia in the 1st position, the lead of the GTO class. He has himself 8 seconds over Niels in 2nd position.
Oh, is that how you pronounce his name? Got it before? I think I might have mispronounced it at least 9 times.
Well, I mean, it's been years since I've attempted pronouncing his name, so my mistakes to the 4 car on the name pronunciation. We are genuinely trying our best.
there are other pronunciations available. But I do actually want to say he has been blitzing the lap times. He's been the fastest car out there by at least half a second. Coming to credence to what you said, that he was the top Kamel GT driver of
Yeah, of years past, he definitely has been, and he's been an excellent driver. It's awesome to see him racing once again. Now, it's important to note that Phil Lake is not here. He was weighing a decision on to whether to take the year off or to take the year off or to take a GTP season, and I'm not sure whether this race is reflecting that, but regardless, he's not going to be in the GTO's battles at all. But here's another battle between Kyle Reid and Michael Springer. This is that battle that we were taking a look at that we said would take a lap, and here they are, getting past Simo Rubba and Stephen Bartholomew, and that GTO traffic once again causing havoc for these GTP battles.
It's sort of like a cork in a bottle, as you said, where it's when you shake a champagne bottle, it just wants to get out, but that cork prevents it from doing so. That's going to be the car 23 of Kyle Reid leading Michael Springer. But Springer is definitely going to be putting up a fight, especially if the traffic allows him to, as it might just do. He'll be able to seal the deal if he can have a great gap. No, he doesn't. Not coming into Canada, at least.
Yeah, I was wondering whether he was going to do the swap over there and try and take the inside of the corner. Kyle Reid going back to the racing line right as the braking zone started. So Michael Springer a little bit cut off there, which threw off his braking a little bit there. But now as they exit the final corner, Kyle Reid's going to get held up here by Javier Romero a little bit. This might give an opportunity to Springer into one.
I'd say, honestly, he just needs to keep it tight.
Well,
Kyle Reid now. Oh, Kyle Reid under threat from Michael Springer on the inside coming into one. Springer just absolutely perfect execution, had plenty of speed. Kyle Reid just letting him go by and not sort of wanting to fight because...
And the battle for fourth position in the GTOs has really heated up. These guys are bumping fenders now.
Oh, it started. It's happening. It's happening. If you have that gift ready, it's happening. Ben Laughter. Oh, crikey, that's going to be posing a threat. That's a car number 50 on the middle of the road. Oh, the crisis averted. Car number 4, car number 35, the 22, and the 11 all making it through. Jamie Hamill-Smith, by the way, just passed Ian Haycox for 6th.
Welcome to Kamel GT, everybody. There are moving chicanes everywhere, and that's not just for the GTPs. Everyone's got to keep their foot down to try and win these races, but it's just such a challenge when you've got chaos and traffic everywhere. And these 4 cars have been nose to tail for the last 5 or 6 laps. And honestly, Rob, we're under 15 minutes to go here. This race is very quickly wrapping up, and here we go. Take a look at this. That's Ben Laughter and Andre Schumacher. Schumacher trying to go around the outside of turn 1.
Schumacher going around the outside, the car number 35 battling with the car number 10, coming down into turn 3, keeping it nice in 4th position. But he's just absolutely nailing it. Oh, he just lost the car number 10 though.
So, remember how we were talking about Michael Springer and Alex Rodriguez?
Oh no. Yes.
Oh, it's happening again. It's happening again. So they finally get out of the way of the GTP, but that was almost another wreck.
Every time I see GTP and GTO, I'm holding on to my armrest going, oh no.
Oh. And here we go. This is Jamie Hamill-Smith trying to make a move on Andre Schumacher up the inside of 6. Not going to happen that time around. Ian Haycox having to sit back and watch these guys. We've got Christian Veal, who's going to be coming up behind them, trying to make his way by, a couple laps down, recovering from some damage repair himself. But I was going to say, Michael Springer and Kyle Reid. Those two were battling. They actually made contact coming through the kink, and it actually wrecked out Michael Springer with major damage. So unfortunately, Michael Springer in the pits.
Absolute. Oh yeah, I see. He's not got a front nose cone anymore. Oh, crikey, that's a GTP trying to go on almost trying to go on the inside, coming into the king on the car number 10. Ben Laughter definitely was probably screaming at his wheel, going, no, please don't. But all is well in that car number 10. He just wants to sit there. He just needs to sit there. That's all he needs to do right now. But that is barring the fact that traffic does separate them as it is happening right now.
JW Miller in 4th position wants to catch up to Fabian Ingeluth, who's disappearing into the distance. He's lost 3 seconds tucked in with this 4-car battle already. So now finally onto the front straightaway. He's released almost, but these guys are weaving all over the track, making it really hard for Miller to get by. Ben Laughter wants to hang on to this position. Andre Schumacher trying to pass. Both of these guys focus on their own battle, not focus on the GTPs going by. Andre Schumacher to the inside.
No, he just pulled out at the very last minute. He wasn't side by side far enough to really execute on a move. He would have needed to be a wheel to wheel essentially before he was able to really get at it. Letting car number 10, Ben Laughter, sit tightly for another lap, but he could make another move coming into 5. He just needs enough slipstream. There is another GTP going by them just one by one.
Absolutely, but here comes the battle once again from Andre Schumacher trying to go around the outside. We got the GTP of Gto Battle tucking in next to them. Here we go. It's going to be close off the corner, but Guy can't get the power down. The GTPs just, they do not have the strong throttle and the 4-wheel drive that the GTOs do. So Guy can't really cut his way through right now. He has to wait until they get to the higher downforce sections. So here we go. He's going to actually look to the inside now of Andre Schumacher. Ben Laughter will be able to take the apex. He actually gives Guy a little bit of room there, but now Guy should be able to go around the outside of the carousel.
Andre Schumacher not too upset by that, but he has lost distance to Ben Laughter, who was able to hold position because the GTP was able to go around the outside of the carousel and have a lot more downforce and be able to actually do that. Cutting through the kink now, you can just see the 4 cars of Ben Laughter, Andre Schumacher, Jamie Hamill-Smith, and Ian Haycox in the back. We just see that it's all bunch of these. The 4 of them have all been trying to watch each other make a mistake. Then when they try and capitalize on it, they're not in the really best position to do so. What would you do? You have 10 minutes to go. You want to make a move going up into 4th position. It's probably the best you're going to get for this race. How do you do it, Adam?
The way you do it is you master the exit of either turn 14, which we just went through, or turn 3, which will... So, believe it or not, what we got going on up here is we have turn 1, which these guys are about to go into. Andre Schumacher taking a look to the outside of Ben Laughter. Can he hold it? No, Ben Laughter with a good run. Now, believe it or not, this little thing right here, this is turn 2. So, we've just gone through turn 2, and then we got turn 3 right here. So master your exit of turn 3, and I think Jamie Hamill-Smith might have just done that. He's got a really good opportunity on Andre Schumacher. We're riding on board with Schumacher now, looking out the window at Ben Laughter. I know that Andre is absolutely focused on this battle, but it's going to be close into breaking into turn 5. Kyle Reid trying to snake his way by these guys in the GTP in 5th position. So it's all about mastering the exits of the corners onto the long straightaways. You can actually give up a couple of tenths through the sector beforehand, so long as you master that exit and have a decent 5 to 10 mile an hour overspeed on the car ahead of you coming into the braking zone.
Andre Schumacher looks behind him and he sees a GTP. That is going to be, I think that is...
It's Kyle Reid.
It's Kyle Reid cutting through traffic.
Mascara, who's also tucked into this. That's a battle for position in the GTP. Oh my goodness, between Javier Mascara and Kyle Reid for 5th position. But oh my goodness, Javier, let's see what he's going to do here at the kink.
Oh, crikey, that's going to be a GTP just behind Javier Mascara. That's Ferran Sanchez. He didn't want to get held up by another GTO, and he almost sent it into the back of Javier Mascara, coming down into the Canada corner. Keeping it nice and tidy, Javier Mascara on the race in 6th position right now. Keeping it nice and tidy through 13A into 14. And
that's the GTP of Patrick Salvazzi, who's actually a lap down from Javier Mascara that chased him through there. Javier Mascara has some significant damage himself, which is why he was not quite as quick. But our best battle on track is absolutely this 4-car GTO battle.
Just by the way, car of Andre Schumacher was drifting out wide and he almost tipped the rear end of Kyle Reid, and it was a heart in the mouth moment, I think, for everyone in the booth, as they were just trying to see if Anthony Schumacher would be able to tuck back in, as he was just drifting in ever so slightly. He did tuck it back in eventually, but just a whisker of a gap between himself and Kyle Reid as they come down into 5. André Schumacher lining it up again. He is slightly faster, but he's going around on the outside.
So 7 minutes to go. About four laps for our leader of the... Oh, contact there between Schumacher and every time I try to talk about something else, these guys get all hot between themselves.
Oh, wait. Just a little time. It didn't upset him too much, but André Schumacher is definitely going to be noticing that the gloves are off. The 6-minute mark is coming towards us very quickly, and we're looking back. We're on board with André Schumacher, looking back towards Jamie Hamill-Smith, who's looking to get past. I think he wants the crack of the whip just to try and get past. Oh, again, André Schumacher drifting out wide there. Another GTP having to sort of take almost evasive action as they come around. GTP is cutting through traffic like scissors, having to dice their way through and get through. Car number 13 challenging. I think that is a lapped car ahead, directly ahead of him, that he's challenging, trying to get past.
No, that's Ferran Grau Sanchez and Martin Krajcik. That's for position for 7th place in class.
And they're separated again by another GTO. Car number 13 having the whole position. He gets by him there, coming into 14. And that is going to be...
Oh my goodness.
Oh, crikey. That is going to be a very hard mouth moment for the car number 21 as he tries to course correct. Car number 21 being Carlos Fonseca. I've definitely said his name wrong before.
Carlos Fonseca and Laust Olsen. That was actually for position. Laust Olsen, remember, he's recovering from an earlier battle and incident. Oh my goodness, this is close. That was 3 wide going into turn 1. André Schumacher decided it was time to go when Laust Olsen was right next to him.
André Schumacher making his stamp and sending it, and just wanted to get it done as quickly as possible.
Into 3.
And a mistake has opened the door for Ben Laffer to come back laughing and passing on 3, 4 to 5. But that is going to be André Schumacher holding the inside line. Does he continue to hold the inside line going up to 5? He does. Ben Laffer is going to have to hold the outside line continuously. If he can hold the outside line, he can't.
Little bit of a Pruitt fade there. You know, the F1, I'm going to take my line. You got to deal with it from André Schumacher there. Ben Laffer able to hang on to that position.
Nice and tidy through 7. Oh, just a little blink there from Mr. Schumacher. As he comes into 8, that's going to be a car off. It's a lapped car.
It's Christian Arribas, so this will be no factor to that battle.
Yeah, just a little mistake from him over braking, coming into 8, into 9. Carcel on towards the kink, and no threats from the car number 10 of Ben Laffer. I'd say he will definitely have the last lap though as they come on towards kink, towards Canada. 11.
Our overall leader is closing in on this battle. He's just behind Stephen Leslie in the black GTP. There is Hugh Haycox. He's going to try and go around Stephen Leslie there. And here we go. Hugh Haycox now caught onto the back of these guys through Thunder Valley. He's got time he can give up, but look at how commanding he is with his passes. He leaves nothing to the imagination to the GTOs to understand where he's going. Oh no! That's André Schumacher. Completely offline. He was staring in his mirrors and didn't see the corner.
André Schumacher has thrown the race away. He's down in 7th and he's going to be down in 8th if he's not careful. He almost came back onto the track. Needs to keep it nice and clear. Down into 9th. The race has been blown wide open. And now look at this. Jamie Hamill-Smith has had now his crack of the whip, and he is going to try and battle Ben Laffer coming down into 3.
Here we go, side by side. Ben Laffer on the inside, Jamie Hamill-Smith on the outside. Ben Laffer trying to take the corner, can't quite get it done. This is going to be a good opportunity for Ian Haycox in the draft of both of these guys. They've got H.R. Satinsky who's trying to find a way through. He's going to cut through the middle of them. 3 wide on the straightaway. Here we go. The final 3 minutes of this race, and the gloves have come off. Ben Laffer with a little bit more of a break there, but Jamie Hamill-Smith taking it to the apex. I'm just so excited. I almost choked on myself.
Ben Laughter, he will still definitely have the last lap, mark my words. But Jamie Hamill-Smith is holding position ahead. I'm in fourth. They won't be able to get another position. They're 15 seconds behind.
From Ian Haycox there on Jonathan Ricard, Clayton McLeod, and Jeffrey Furcon also tucked in there. This is the battle for 11th position in the GTPs that's trying to make its way through the battle for 4th position in the GTOs.
That's going to be nice and tidy. Having to keep it nice and tidy. Bleeding the throttle, bleeding in. Oh no! That's going to be a car going up. That's going to be
Ricard.
Oh, he held it. He held it. He held it. Having to make a very quick glove change because I'm pretty sure he just threw the gloves and had to put them back on. Didn't want to make that mistake, but he did. Just a slide. Can't make the difference, but back at it again, Richard. Oh, that's going to be a mistake from Jamie Hamill-Smith. I told you Ben Laughter would have the last lap. Coming into Canada corner, overextended his braking zone. And now Ian Haycox is up into 5th.
And Hugh Haycox, Ian Haycox, their relations. Hugh Haycox has taken the white flag. The final lap of this race crossed the line with 1:30 to go. And his last lap was a 1:49, so this will be his final lap. Hugh Haycox, 32 seconds over Traingrade in second.
Ben Laughter holding position now. He's got a commanding little gap for himself. A nice safety net if he needs it, but he need not squander it straight away. He does not have any slipstream to give himself a little bit of a boost if he needed it. He's on his own. And that is the car of Ian Haycox holding position against Jamie Hamill-Smith, who would very much like to be on the opposite end of this train. He'd actually like to be in 4th, not 6th. But he has to work on the last lap for the GTOs to get it all back.
And I'm keeping my eyes on Carradine, our leader in the GTOs. I think he's going to get passed by Hugh Haycox as well. So this should be the last lap for our GTO leader. There is Hugh Haycox coming through, and Carradine's actually in the kink right now, going quite slowly. I think he might be a little low on fuel, but there goes Hugh, there's Carradine, and there's Hugh, and Hugh is going to make his way past Carradine. Both of our leaders are going to finish more or less nose to tail. Carradine really struggling with traction here towards the end of this race. But here comes Hugh Haycox through 13 and 14 to take the checkered flag.
Hugh Haycox, the PlayStation 2 liveried GTP, commanding lead when he overtook Nicholas Schneider, and now does a little wave to celebrate his first victory of the season. And a good start for him. Hugh Haycox also set the fast lap as Rafia, car number 4, also crossed the line to take first position in GTO. And this battle between Ben Laughter, Ian Haycox, and Jamie Hamill-Smith is coming down to the wire as Ian Haycox is looking to see if he can make a last-minute upset. Does he make one? He's unsure of himself. He wants to, but can he use enough of the track? That's going to be Ben Laughter taking a very wide line. He's actually a little bit slower coming up the hill, but I don't think there's enough tarmac for it, so...
Ben Laughter in 4th, Ian Haycox 5th, and Jamie Hamill-Smith finishes in the 6th position. Oh my goodness, Rob. That was a race and a half.
A race and a half ain't cutting it. It ain't cutting it, Chief, but I definitely agree. Yeah, it was a race and a half. We see other cars finishing up now. It's going to be the car number 4, leader for GTOs, but we will be right back. We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. Continue sticking your screens on GSRC for post-race analysis and interviews. After an eventful race here at the Kamel GT Road Americas, I can safely say that I probably won't be sleeping because I'll have a smile on my face from the entirety of the racing. But we do have the provisional results coming up on your screens. Nicholas Schneider in... This is not the race results, this is qualifying. This is going to be Hugh Haycox in first, Ove Tangerid in second, Fabian Youngbluth in third, JW Miller in fourth, Carl Reid in fifth, Javier Mosquera in sixth, seventh is going to be Martin Krejcik, eighth, Ferran Grau Sanchez, ninth is going to be Stefan Leslie, Aitor Sintez Galindo, after his great results at the qualifying, just fell back after a few incidents, down in 10th. In 11th is going to be Clayton McLeod, Jeffrey Firkin in 12th, Jonathan Rickard in 13th, Guillaume de Otero in 14th, and for those that were actually classified, Patrick Silvazzi in 15th.
Then we have Caradine Buffy, who won the race today in a commanding way over Niels Kor, who put a challenge to him for the first couple laps, but Caradine just running away with it. Reid Miller in third position, battling with Niels Kor in the middle of the race, but just fell back towards the end there. Then we get that battle for fourth position. Ben Lafter takes it over Ian Haycox, Jamie Hamill-Smith, and Hideki Koivisto. Franco Scurry is going to fall back to the 8th position and hang on there. Andre Schumacher, after his spin, hangs on to 9th position. And Oren Laskin, the last of your top 10. Pablo Rangel is going to come home in 11th position over Mark Ole in 12th. Camilo Miranda is going to come home in the 13th position, with Marty Ole coming home in 14th. Simo Raba in 15th position, and Harry Weir in 16th spot. Michael Haynes, consistent, comes home in the 12th position. Andre Gto coming home in 13th, and Christian Ribas in 14th. The rest of your drivers, the rest of the 16 drivers at the end of this list, had major problems today and either DNF'd or had enough damage that they fell behind the rest of the GTO field.
And I will say this, it is unfortunate that it happened, but the track is quite a tricky one for 50 cars to occupy. As we can go through the big name for me that stands out, Nicholas Schneider. He was absolutely, I'd say he probably was devastated that it didn't go well for him today, but there is 11 more races to go, so he can bounce back. He just needs to get back at it again and just forget this ever happened, but well, hopefully we see him again. We do want to bring in the race winner, the overall race winner. I'd say he'd be very happy about today. Hugh Haycox, where is he? There he is. Hugh, congratulations, my boy, on getting a first position overall. How do you feel?
Good. Yeah, finally. I thought it'd be last season, but I guess it's this season.
Yeah, very well done to you. How was it out there fighting Nicholas Schneider?
I knew it was a bit quicker from previous races we've done, but I'd made a bad setup choice at the start of the race, seeing how hot it was, and my car ended up being very tail happy, so that was fun to drive around. But yeah, I think I was quite lucky that Nick got crashed out. Otherwise it would have been a lot more pressure, and I think I would have made a mistake or two.
It's tail happy. Did you feel like it was a difficult kind of drive being tail happy, or were you able to control it?
It was difficult, very difficult compared to what I've been practicing on. I upped the tire pressures just before the start of the race, and it really hurt my tire wear. And yeah, it ended up being quite slidey and a bit understeery at some point as well.
And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Are you coming back? Is this going to be a recurring theme and challenging for the Season 4 Championship this year?
Hopefully, it will be nice. Nice to at least have a challenge. Hopefully, Sean will be back soon, and we can race with him.
Yeah, that sure is the plan, and it sure is the hope. Do you have any shoutouts or any thanks you'd like to give out before we let you go?
Big thanks to you guys, of course, for putting on the broadcast. And apart from that, it's all right.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hugh. Pleasure seeing you again, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Now, up next is going to be Niels Core, and Adam Lindgren has been catching up with him on his race.
Absolutely, Niels. Fantastic race today. We didn't talk about you much, and I think in a field of 51 where chaos is everywhere, that's probably a good thing. How did your race go today?
Yeah, it went quite well. Nothing much happened really for me. I was fighting for maybe like 2 laps with Reid, but when the traffic hit, I was able to pull away, and then nothing happened anymore.
Absolutely, and navigating the traffic today obviously was probably quite a big task. What do you think? How was it navigating all those GTPs out there? I mean, we had 24 of them.
Yeah, to be fair, most of them were fine. I mean, I think there were like a lot of new people who haven't done the series before, really. And to my surprise, most of them have been very careful with overtaking, so it didn't affect me much.
Absolutely, and probably not super stoked to see Kiradine out there, but that being said, second place is still a great finishing position. What are your thoughts heading into our next rounds?
Well, actually don't know what the track is, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next races. Will try to do a full season, or at least 10 races this season, which I haven't done before, so I'm just looking for good results.
Well, fantastic race today, Nils, for sure, and we look forward to seeing you at the next round. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Would just like to thank the Kamel community in general, that they're putting so much effort into making these races happen in a series that's usually not at all crowded in the week. So yeah,
Well,
thanks for that.
Absolutely, and thanks for joining us today on the broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep.
That was Niels Core, our second place finisher in the GTOs, and Rob's got Ben Laughter, who's going to be talking to us.
Ben, congratulations on your P4. Very hard fought, though. I'd imagine you're probably sweating buckets in your seat.
Yeah, Rob, I don't know if the top 3 got issued extra turbos today, but the action was just off the podium. That was an incredible blast with those guys. What fun that was.
It did seem like it was a bit hairy at times, though, especially given the fact that you fell back down into 6th and then had to fight your way back into 4th. Were you worried at all, or were you just trying to say, all right, let the race come to me rather than I go chasing after a race and I'll, let's see what happens?
Oh, I was worried. I was driving at the edge of my ability. Threshold braking. I messed it up a few times. It was seat of my pants the entire time. It was, but that's what I like about the series, is that it's unpredictable, and in any position you can find yourself wheel to wheel on the last lap. It's a lot of fun.
And were you trying to figure out when you did drop down to the 6th and the cars were ahead of you, was traffic helping you at all, or was it sort of a push and give sort of situation with traffic, especially GTPs?
Rob, it giveth and it taketh away. Sometimes I just had the better positioning and I got lucky with traffic. Sometimes I actively used the traffic as a pick, to position the GTP to disadvantage one of the other guys. But generally, I mean, I won some and I lost some in the traffic, which is just the nature of the beast here. I'd say the only really sketchy traffic moment for me was when one of the GTPs, right before the kink, was just rolling lazily back onto the track, and I thought we were all going to be dead.
Well, at the very least, it all all that's well ends well, but I'd say, especially when we look at this shot here, I bet you we were kind of just hoping and praying that everything was would go to plan. Do you have any sort of hopes and aspirations for continuing and maybe pushing to challenge the top position?
Yeah, last couple of years, I have turned a corner and gotten better in this thing. And, I'm no Yuko and I'm no Phil and I'm no Carradine. But I think I can hold my own with these other guys. And I think I'm going to run all 12 races this season and see how far I can get.
Perfect. And just as a final thing before we let you go, any thanks you'd like to give or any shout outs?
Well, I want to thank Phil and Alex. They're running they allowed me to start our Bathurst 1000 race today so that I could run this camel race. So we're trying to finish that out in the top 10 right now. My sponsor, Struggle Buddy, and you guys as always for putting on a good show. Oh, and Andre and Jamie and whom am I forgetting? Ian, for a fantastic race today.
I was wondering where Phil was.
Now I know where he was.
Yeah, he's finishing out for us right now. 9th position last I looked.
Well, send my good luck to him. And a pleasure as always to talk with you, Ben. Hopefully see you the rest of the season.
You bet, guys. Thank you.
And to round off our round of interviews, we do have Jamie Hamill-Smith, and Adam was catching up with him.
Absolutely, Jamie, you're a part of that battle with Ben Lafter, Ian Haycox, and Hideki Koivisto towards the end there, and also Andre Schumacher. Talk to me about that four-way battle that went on for most of this race.
Yeah, it was great fun. Usually I have a lot of trouble keeping up with a group, and I just kind of get left in no man's land. That didn't happen this time, and I fell back for a bit there. Felt like I was chasing for a while, and I wasn't sure if I could actually catch the group. But once I did, oh boy, it's really good racing between Ian and I always. Super fun racing with Ben, and Andre was just really quick as well. I thought it was just a super fun battle. I had a great time.
Absolutely, you all brought your best, and sometimes the traffic could cause a little bit of chaos there. How hard is it to be battling side by side with a GTO competitor with a GTP impatiently waiting behind you?
Generally, I like it. I'm not sure if I'm good at managing GTP traffic, but I like to think that I am. So when I see the GTPs show up, I try to see it as more of an opportunity than a curse. That's just the way I've learned to look at it.
Absolutely, and definitely trying to maximize on those opportunities today. Now, next week we head to Suzuka, which is a very different circuit, but still in the same vein as Road America. What are your thoughts heading into that round?
I really like Suzuka, but I'm not very quick there, so I have work to do.
Well, Jamie, fantastic race and great to have you up here in the booth. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
As usual, just the whole Kamel community. These races are just always such a great time.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Jamie, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Take care.
That was Jamie Hamill-Smith, our 6th place finisher in the GTOs. Back to you, Rob.
And unfortunately, that is the end for Kamel GT Round 1 here at Road America, but it's not the end of the road. You'll be able to watch the entirety of the series here on GSRC, so we'll be back next week at the same time and at the same, well, not the same people, but definitely with the same grace of entertainment. I'd like to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen, and a special thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. You see the screen on how to get a hold of her great work. Thanks to the entire squad today of Adam, Zach, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media channel through the outlets listed at the bottom of the screen. If you'd like to support the channel, go check out the Sim Racing store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. Pick up a bit of merch. Go on, do it. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Don't miss out on a moment here on GSRC. Again, as I said, we'll be back next week at the same time. Different track. We do also have upcoming races. They're scrolling across your screen, so mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race hard, race clean, and we will see you on the track.